Featherweight bout, Lucas Almeida coming in at plus 145 against Andre Fili, sitting at minus 175. Over under 2.5 rounds, plus 125 for the over, minus 155 for the under. Andre Fili on a bit of a rough patch in his career, but he's still the favorite here against Lucas Almeida, who took a loss. His last time out against Pat Sabatini, he got taken down, and pretty much it was over at that point. I mean, Lucas Almeida doesn't have the best defensive ground game, and he's got some good submissions off his back, but Pat Sabatini, a guy that's going to press his chest into yours, not allow any type of space for you to create anything, and got the submission win there pretty easily. So coming in here against Andre Fili, I would expect this fight to probably play out on the feet for majority of it. Andre Fili could mix in the takedowns, but I don't think Lucas Almeida is going to be shooting anything. Almeida made his debut back in 2022, picked up a win over Trezano, a round 3 KO. So he's got a solid frame for the division. So does Andre Fili. Lucas Almeida, pretty solid striking as well. So what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, Andre Fili is so hard to break down and predict because he's a guy who's got all the tools and he's got the skills to get wins in the UFC. But lately, like you said, kind of a rough patch. But when I look at the rough patch and I dig a little deeper and you look at the names he's losing to, it's Sadiq Yusuff, Bryce Mitchell, Daniel Pineda, which ended up being a no contest, Joe Anderson Brito, who we just saw, submit JSP, and Nathaniel Wood, who was, before his last loss to Naimov, was a pretty highly touted prospect. And even in that fight, Fili came out hot and almost finished it right off the bat. Like, looked very, very good, got the knockdown, and eventually goes on to lose the fight. But wins over Bill Algeo, Charles Jourdain, I mean, those are good wins there. The one thing that I wish he would do in this fight against Almeida is just implement the wrestling. He's at Team Alpha Male. He's surrounded by killers in the wrestling department. We've seen him get, takedowns on Bill Algeo, which is not an easy feat. Takedowns on Daniel Pineda, 5 on Charles Jourdain, 3 on Sadiq Yusuff. Those are powerful, big, strong guys, and he's able to drag them down. If he can do that here against Almeida, I think he will have a lot of success. Like you said, Almeida was taken down, controlled, and submitted by Pat Sabatini pretty easily in that fight. And, I don't think Fili's necessarily going to go out there and submit Almeida, but if you take him down enough times and you get him a little tired, then you can open up your striking on the feet, because Fili does have power in his hands. We see him knock guys down all the time. His striking is sharp. He's long, has great kicks. It's just, if you get in the firefight early in the fight with Almeida, you run the risk of getting your chin checked, because Almeida does have some very good power in striking. I'm going to stick with Fili here. I think he does get the win, but if I'm betting, I'm definitely looking at an Almeida KO prop, just because of what we've seen out of Fili lately. He does tend to, leave his chin out there a little bit when he strikes and he throws the kicks. The hands come down, and sometimes he gets countered over the top or with the hooks. And that's this type of style that Lucas Almeida is going to look to implement. We saw it against Trezano, devastating power, really rocked him and hurt him and got the finish. So, if it stays striking, it's a close fight. If Fili's smart, I think he does try to grapple up Almeida and see what the gas tank's got and see what the ground game's got here. But I'm going to take Andre Fili to pull it off.
Yeah, I think path of the least resistance would be to take Almeida down. But Fili's not really like a guy that's going to shoot a bunch. Right. He'll stand with you for the majority of the fight, maybe mix it in here and there. Landed 1 against Bill Algeo, 1 against Daniel Pineda. But other than that, I mean, yeah, he landed 5 against Charles Jourdain, but those are his fights in 2020. So he's not really the guy that's going to be shooting a bunch. And on the feet, I think it's probably more close to a pick'em. I mean, I think Fili, he's shown he can get knocked down recently. I mean, he got knocked down by Nathaniel Wood, knocked down by Brito, which are 2 guys with some solid pop. But Almeida's got some solid pop too. I mean, he mixes his weapons really well too, with the hands, with the kicks. And Trezano kind of got beaten up on the feet by him. So if this fight's on the feet, I think Almeida's definitely live. And Fili's not a big high volume guy. Almeida does have some pretty solid volume. I mean, put up 96 against Zellhuber, 75 against Trezano. On the feet, he really is able to hit guys. And I think in this fight, I'm going to take Almeida for the pick. I mean, maybe a buy low spot too, because he just took that bad loss to Sabatini. And Fili has been fighting some pretty good competition. So, I mean, you can't really knock him for taking these losses. But for the pick, I'll take Almeida as a dog. We're gonna need some dogs on here, and Almeida's a decent one for me, so I'll take him.